All right, today we are diving into a book that really truly changed how we see our planet, The Ages of Gaia by James Lovelock. We're going to explore an idea so big, so profound, that it suggests our entire Earth isn't just a rock with life on it, but is actually a single living being.
So let's just start with this. This quote from the book's preface really sets the stage. Just picture it for a second. You're out there, standing on the moon, this quiet, gray, totally lifeless place. And then you look up, and in all that blackness, you see Earth. It's not just a pretty blue marble. It's vibrant. It's swirling with clouds and oceans. It's alive. That one image, that's the whole spirit of what we're about to unpack.
So, how do we get from that beautiful, poetic idea to, well, to actual science? That's our first step. Let's turn that image into a real question. No, really, I want you to chew on that for a second. We're all taught in school that life is just something that happens on Earth, right? That life just showed up and had to adapt to whatever it found here. But what if that's not the whole story? What if life and the planet itself, the air, the oceans, the rocks, what if it's all one giant, deeply connected system? And this isn't just some philosophical thought experiment. Nope, this is a real, honest-to-goodness scientific hypothesis. And it came from someone who was a total outsider, which is a key part of the story. The idea is called the Gaia hypothesis. Yep, named after the ancient Greek goddess of the earth. And the guy who cooked it up, James Lovelock, he wasn't your typical university professor. He was an independent scientist working on his own. And that freedom was absolutely crucial. It meant he wasn't stuck in one little box. He wasn't just a biologist or just a geologist. He could see the whole shebang, the entire integrated system, in a way that specialists deep in their own fields often could. So here's the absolute heart of it. The Gaia hypothesis says that life doesn't just passively live on the Earth. It actively shapes the Earth. Life, through all these incredibly complex feedback loops, is basically tweaking the planet's thermostat, changing the air we breathe, keeping the oceans just salty enough, all to keep the Earth in that perfect little sweet spot for life to keep on going. This was a radical idea. It completely went against the grain of traditional biology. Okay, but hold on a second. How can a planet self-regulate? I mean, it doesn't have a brain or a nervous system, right? So who's in charge? That was the big question, and Lovelock's answer was this brilliantly simple model he came up with. And that is the absolute genius of it. There's no planetary thermostat. No one is trying to do anything. The daisies are just, well, they're being daisies. They're just doing what's best for them to survive. But the collective result of all that individual selfish action is a stable climate for the whole planet. This is called emergent self-regulation, and it is the engine that makes the whole idea of Gaia work. Okay, so Daisy World is a fantastic little model, a great way to wrap your head around the idea. But does anything like this actually happen in the real world? Well, Lovelock would argue that our planet's entire history is the ultimate proof that it does.
And we're not talking about small changes here. Way back in the Archean era, you had these tiny little bacteria just pumping out methane, creating this atmospheric blanket that kept the whole planet warm enough for life. And then bam, the oxygen revolution. Tiny little organisms completely changed the air we all breathe. They literally terraformed their own world. The main takeaway here is just massive. For billions of years, life hasn't just been a passenger on planet Earth. It's been in the driver's seat. And all that history brings us right up to today, because if Gaia theory is right, it gives us a completely new and maybe even scary way to look at our current environmental crises. It's not just about pollution anymore. It's about the actual health of a living system. Lovelock actually talks about our modern problems using medical terms. Think about it. Rising CO2 levels? That's not just a chemical statistic. It's Gaia running a fever. Acid rain? It's like a form of planetary indigestion. The ozone hole? That's like a wound, a tear in the Earth's protective skin. This metaphor makes everything so much more personal and urgent. We're not just making a mess in our environment, we are stressing a living, self-regulating system and maybe, just maybe, pushing it beyond its breaking point. And that leads us to the most profound, the most challenging implication of this entire theory. What is our role, humanity's role, in this incredible living system? For centuries, we've basically had one point of view. The Earth is our stage, it's a warehouse full of resources, and it's ours to manage and use. But Gaia theory just grabs that idea and flips it completely on its head. It says we are not the masters of Earth. We're not even the managers. We are an inseparable part of it, one component in a vast, ancient, and unbelievably complex living organism.
And this is the final, really challenging question that Lovelock leaves us with. With all our technology, our global consciousness, our ability to literally monitor the vital signs of the entire planet, are we becoming something like Gaia's brain, its evolving nervous system? Or through all our destructive actions, have we become more like a pathogen, a fever that the system itself might eventually have to fight off to survive? It's a heavy thought, and it's one that completely redefines our place in the universe.